I'm sorry, you broke up. Who is this?
This is Deputy Martin's Package Scripts.
How do you spell that, Deputy?
Martins.
And what's your ID number?
41948.
All right.
What's going on?
So I've been dealing with PBSO and internal affairs in PBSO for a few years now. The issue I have is no one seems to want to take a report of a illegal weapon.
What's the weapon?
It's a sawed-off 410 shotgun. That would be a violation of the National Firearms Act and Florida state law.
So when you say report, what do you mean by report?
I've tried to report that this weapon, it exists, and that it was taken into possession by...
Was this your gun?
It was my grandfather's.
And you know he's the one that passed by now?
Yes. I was married to my aunt. He was best friends with my father before he passed away. And he was apparently had power of attorney over my grandfather. So he removed all my grandfather's firearms and his paperwork from his safe. And my grandfather called PBSO from the report. Apparently, my grandfather called PBSO to have his property returned. And the report indicates that all the firearms were returned. This shotgun was not returned.
So has power of attorney.
Had, yes. My grandfather's deceased.
And he's power of attorney.
Allegedly.
Well, paper-wise, is he?
Allegedly. I don't know. It's never been verified to me. My grandfather was changing his will. He was taking out of the will. That's why we think that went and took all his paperwork and took his guns. So there's multiple crimes going on here. Potentially elder abuse, violation of Florida State Statute 914 TAC 22, which is witness tampering.
Okay. All right, just give me 1 second, all right?
Yes. Deputy Martins.
Yeah, so what do you need?
First of all, can I ask, is this a recorded line?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Quick question. What do you need? Do you have other reports of this?
Internal Affairs case number 21 TAC 466. If you could pull that up and we could run through that together, that would be exceptionally helpful. Title 18, 15, 12, and Florida State Statute 914 TAC 22, which are essentially the same. It's engaging in misleading conduct that causes another to delay in communication to a law enforcement officer or judge, commission or possible commission of an offense. Sergeant Denny's report completely excludes my mention of this shotgun, my mention of my brother Ronald Zellick, witness to this shotgun's existence. He's just leaving out basically all the information that I gave him. He's left out, with the exception of Sheila Campbell, which are the two people that are implicated in these crimes.
Okay, so what do you want me to do for you right
Okay, first of all, I'd like to report that this shotgun exists.
Okay, so
That can be verified with Sheila Campbell, Ronald Zellick, and myself. We're the living persons I know have knowledge of this weapon.
okay, what else do you want me to do in this report?
Prior to 2/7/21, took possession of this shotgun. That's known by myself, Sheila Campbell, and obviously
So you just want me to do a report?
there's an illegal weapon out there, man.
Okay, so you want me to do a report? What was his last
I
name?
also know that Mr. to the best of my knowledge is in possession of stolen munitions, stolen from the United States government. He received the stolen property from me, myself personally. He purchased it.
So you want me to basically write a report, do a whole report for you on basically him having a sawed-off 410 shotgun.
Yes.
Okay. What was the address that this shotgun was taken from?
The ATF has been telling me to report this to you guys, and nobody's been wanting to take this report.
Now, did you live in Florida?
I did.
And based off of these accusations, where can we meet up?
I said I did. I'm currently in New Mexico.
Okay.
That's why I'm using the alternative reporting methods.
The other guns, do you still have those?
No, I'm currently on conditional release. I have no firearms. Likely my brother is in possession of the other firearms.
And what's your address that you live in New Mexico?
Do I have to provide that?
Well, I gotta for me to write the report. I need all your information. And what's the zip code?
88310.
Okay. And do you have a New Mexico driver's license?
I'd rather not provide any more information than I have to.
For me to put you in this whole call, I gotta do your name, your middle name, your height, weight, date of birth, hair color, eye color, local address, driver's license number, home address, home phone number.
So I can't file a police report without a driver's license, is what you're telling me?
I just need information. I gotta put you in the names list that I'm talking to. I gotta give people information in case they want a resource to you. They know where to reach you at. They know.
You've got my phone number, you've got my name, you've got my address. That's plenty to reach me.
All right. Sure. What's your date of birth?
11. Yes.
Okay. All right. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna generate all this and then.
Sir, there's more to this.
When you say more, is it more?
This is essentially a criminal conspiracy to violate Florida State Statute 914 TAC 22. I was a witness. I was a victim to multiple crimes. I was trying to report it. My life was threatened.
Your life is threatened.
Yes. Robert Scott Hewitt.
1 second. By Robert Scott. Spell the last name.
Hewitt.
Hewitt. Robert Scott Hewitt threatened you?
Yes, he told me that if I attempted to continue reporting crimes that I would be killed.
And did you tell New Mexico police about this?
No,
allegation?
this all happened in Florida.
Okay. Alright, so I got the address where this all happened, and then I took it, he gave it back, he kept this.
Can we use last names? Because both these men are named.
Yeah, I'm gonna use last name.
Yes.
Do it. And then took all the guns, and then he was told to bring them back. He brought them back and kept the shotgun.
Deputies returned them.
Deputies returned the guns.
Right.
From Palm Beach PBSO?
Yes. I was informed by my grandfather that had sent the weapons back with deputies. I mistook that as he called them up to return them. From Sergeant Denny's report, my grandfather called the deputies, and they brought his property back. Now, Deputy Cunningham reported that he returned all the firearms. That's inaccurate. I told Sergeant Denny several times about this shotgun. I told him he could verify it existed with my brother, because my brother was the executor of the estate, and he was wondering where this missing shotgun was. So Sergeant Denny left that completely out of his report. He informed me over the phone when he took my report orally that he would look into this shotgun. It's completely out of his report. I believe that's a violation of Florida State Statute 914 TAC 22 as well. I don't think Deputy Cunningham did anything wrong. You know, he got dispatched at my grandfather's request to go pick up some firearms and bring them back to him, trying to give me possession of firearms while he knew I was on probation.
Okay, and then you want me to just document all this, right?
Sir, in late 2016, Hewitt made a threat that I would be killed if I tried to report his crimes.
Did he say it verbally, text message?
He said it verbally.
Okay.
His brother was PBSO Deputy Timothy Hewitt. The threat was made in such a manner that would lead me to believe that deputies would be the ones killing me. Hewitt had attempted to forcibly kill my mother with an object. I stopped the attack. This was just prior. Just after that attempted, Hewitt stole mail addressed to me, opened it, forged his name on a check made out to me, placed it in his bank account using an ATM. So when he realized that I could have him prosecuted for a crime, he came to my home and he threatened me. I confronted my mother about this. My mother was trying to have me institutionalized. I said, you know I don't need to be in a mental institution. I do suffer from PTSD, but she knows that. But I said, I don't need to be in a mental institution. Why are you threatening to have me institutionalized? And she replied that she was worried that they were going to kill me. So I believe this threat was credible.
And all you guys that he said it verbally to? Nothing with like a camera catching that or anything?
No, he's not an idiot.
Okay. All right, so if you want, I'll give you a case number.
Well, can you take the full report? Because after Hewitt made that threat, I was later arrested. I was released on probation. He made statements to me that he would assist me in hiring an attorney, but I was not to bring up the past, that's likely a violation of Florida State Statute 914 TAC 22. It's likely a violation of 18 U.S. Code 1512. Attempting to get a witness or victim to testify in a specific way.
Okay, so in this report, I'm going to put in the weapons. I'm putting in the weapons were returned to the family by deputies, except for the shotgun. That this case has been reported before.
It hasn't been reported in placed in the system, because every time someone says they took the report, I look later and there's no mention of it. That's an issue. That is misleading conduct that causes another to delay in communication to a law enforcement officer or a judge, commission or possible commission of an offense. That's a violation of Florida State Statute 914 TAC 22. That is what I would like to report today, as well as this illegal weapon.
Okay, so I'm reporting that he made those verbal threats to you. I'm reporting about the shotgun.
The ammunition?
And the ammunition, yep. Stolen ammunition, yep.
Do you want to know where that's from, or?
Yeah, where's the ammunition from?
The ammunition is from Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point, North Carolina. It was property of the United States Marine Corps.
Marine Corps Air Station, what state was that?
Cherry Point, North Carolina.
North Carolina. All right, I will document everything that I listed to you.
Sir, are you going to report that I am reporting that Sergeant Denny is potentially in violation of Florida State Statute 914 TAC 22 by engaging in misleading conduct that caused another delay in communication to law enforcement or judge, commission or possible commission of an offense?
What's the sergeant last name spelled for me?
Denney.
Denney, right?
When he took my report, he made it sound as though he was going to include this shotgun that I mentioned several times. This is a separate crime. This is the only crime. Power of attorney. This would be the only crime that he committed. So Sergeant Denny excluded a crime from the report. This is the reason why I reported Deputy Cunningham, was because there was this illegal weapon involved, and I thought it was kind of negligent that he didn't ask any questions and learn that this property was, in existence and not returned. Also, I'm the victim of a theft because property that belonged to me and didn't return that as well.
Okay, put that part of the report right there, put in the report. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the report as well.
What exactly are you putting in?
That you say that Sergeant Denny didn't put it in the report.
Didn't put in the report the shotgun?
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
And he led me to believe that he did?
Yes. Just give me 1 second.
Yes, sir.
All right, Matthew. Since you do know this line is recorded, everything that you did state, I will be documenting it.
Okay.
Into the report.
Very good. There's also some information. I told Sergeant Denny that I had text messages that I would forward to him if he provided me with the information. And in his report, in this report, there's a few people that I've contacted that are putting reports in. They're saying that I was unable to provide additional information. I was trying to provide text messages as evidence.
What kind of text messages?
Text messages involving the stolen property.
Like screenshots of it?
Between myself, that's what I was trying to do, was send in screenshots. Essentially the PBSO deputies, they don't like me. Every time I had contact with them, there would be some sort of reprisal. They'd fail to take my reports. That's why I was reporting this over the phone. So there's also false information. Deputy Denny falsified a report. In here, he's stating Matthew was given instructions on how to complete an allegation of employee misconduct. However, he stated he suffered from PTSD and was unable to put his thoughts into words. That's not true. I told Sergeant Denny that I don't want to have physical contact with deputies. I was trying to find an alternative means of reporting without having deputies come into contact. Sergeant Denny was trying to send deputies to my home. He was trying to get me to come into the office. I told him, I can report this, but if I'm in contact with deputies, it's not going to be good. They're going to trigger my PTSD. It will cause disorganization of thought. I'll have difficulty reporting. And I believe that the deputies were going to try and incriminate me like they typically would. I was on felony probation, and this office has it out for me. I wasn't going to make contact with them physically. Sergeant Denny, I believe that's falsification of an official record by putting this statement in to his report.
Okay.
So well, here's the other thing is there's also a name of if you read this report, you can see how there's some strange inconsistencies in here. I've got a checklist. Let me just run through it with you. I let you know I was mistaken. I didn't know my grandfather called. That seems legitimate. He took the weapons to prevent my grandfather from committing suicide. He stated this to Campbell. He stated this to myself. He stated this to basically anyone who asked, except for law enforcement. So that would be false statements to law enforcement because in this report, Sergeant Denny's saying that he kept the firearms for safekeeping. The issue with that, as you can see, is if my grandfather was suicidal and power of attorney over him, he should have been getting him treatment. My grandfather later committed suicide or made a suicide attempt and died 3 days later. So you can see how this is an issue. That would be neglect of an elder, somebody who was in his care or he was responsible for the care of. That was the reason for the power of attorney. My grandfather also was left to suffer with a hernia for days. He called me up. That's why Miss Campbell was appointed as caretaker. There are some text messages there where I told him that if he did not provide adequate care as he was supposed to be doing, I would be contacting Department of Children and Families and reporting him for abuse of the elderly.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
On this report, I need to know what I got to do for this report. You're giving me a whole bunch of stuff in pieces. On this report, am I reporting the shotgun and about the sergeant and about the ammunition and someone? It's not my job to tell you how to report these crimes. I'm reporting crimes to you. Okay, so
if you got to break it up into 5 different reports, that's what you got to do. But I need to report these crimes. I've been delayed for years in reporting these crimes.
Okay, I'm reporting the threat to you verbally. I'm reporting about the firearm. I'm reporting that the firearm got received back to the family by deputies except for one.
Are you going to report that the threat was to prevent me from communicating to law enforcement several federal offenses, the grand theft, the mail theft, the forgery?
Okay, so I can do stop reporting to law enforcement. Okay. And then I got...
See, the stop reporting to law enforcement makes it sound like maybe Robert Hewitt is just a concerned parent who doesn't want me making a bunch of reports to law enforcement because I'll get in trouble.
Okay, you want me to say the courts?
No, I would like you to note that I was trying to report his attempted forcible my mother and grand theft, mail theft, fraud.
Fraud and grand theft, okay.
And forcible of my mother. Please don't try and cover this up for these people, Martins. You're going to get yourself wrapped up in this. Just take my...
Whatever you're telling me, I'm going to report. It's going to be one report. Whatever you're telling me, you're just giving me a lot in little pieces, so I'm trying to get this whole report done.
Yeah, it takes roughly 6 hours for me to give the whole narrative. So I'm just trying to give you some basics to start off of.
Okay, so I got the threat. I got the firearms. I got the bullets from North Carolina Cherry Point. I got the sergeant. Is allegedly supposed to be the executor. The weapons came from the 9 to 20 Lake Worth. And I'm going to be documenting all this, and I got your information.
And you have this recorded so you can go back and you can listen to it.
Yes, I do.
Would you like witnesses?
Unless you have the address, phone numbers, and the ID numbers, I need all that.
You just don't want their basic information so you can get back to me later and ask how to contact them? Because
Sir, for me to do somebody on the names list, I have to get all the information. I can't get bits in half because once I send this report out, they're going to ask me where's all this information and why did I not get it? So you have
listen, Deputy, are you a sergeant?
No, I am not a sergeant.
Deputy Martins, I was credentialed in law enforcement. All right, I know how to put stuff in CLEOC. I know what the command's going to do when you have partial information. They don't like it. That's why they want you to get everyone's ID, everyone's full information, because they want to be able to get them and know who they are, exactly who they are, and they're going to tell you you're not doing your job correctly. What I'm saying to you now is, I'd like for you to take some names from me that are witnesses, and you can get back up with me later, and I will do my best to provide with you their full information. But my phones were taken from me. I don't have all my old contacts.
So can you give me these phone numbers and all the rest of the information by today?
I can do my best. I'm going to be trying to get my brother's contact information for you. But first of all, you can work with Ashley Johnson with the Public Defender's Office on this one. She is representing me currently. She has investigators that are investigating this stuff currently. So you should be able to get up with Ashley Johnson at the Public Defender's Office, Criminal Division, and gain this information from her. She should have all of this.
Ashley Johnson's in Florida?
Yes. 15th Judicial Circuit, Public Defender's Office, Criminal Division.
Okay, that's it, Ashley Johnson?
Yes, and she'll be able to provide you with information on witnesses.
Okay, and those are the witnesses?
They will know about the situation involving, the firearms and things of that nature. I can provide a image of a text message from Diane Forsyth where she I don't know if she would be admissible as a witness, but she's definitely a corroborating witness to statements that I have made. Like I said, you're going to have to get up with Ashley Johnson to collect the evidence on this one because the evidence was taken from me. So they have my phones.
All right. And then you want a report number?
Yes, please.
Report number is going to be 24034-339.
Deputy Martins, I thank you for being polite. I thank you for taking your time with this. Please be detailed. Don't leave anything out because this is going to be scrutinized. All right.
I'm going to try to be as detailed as I can.
I mean, for your sake, I appreciate the help you've given me today. I'm glad I finally got to report this weapon.
What's going to happen if I provide you the service that you're expecting?
Who is this?
What do you mean be detailed for your sake? What does that mean? That sounds very threatening.
Who is this?
Okay, I'm asking you a question, sir.
Are you a government official? Because you're not Deputy Martins.
Okay. What do you mean when you tell Deputy Martins to be detailed?
I said be detailed for your sake because this is going to be scrutinized.
Well, that sounded very threatening, sir.
Yeah, who are you? Identify yourself.
I'm Corporal Derby. I'm with Deputy Martins, and I need some information from you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you mean by be very detailed for your sake? That sounded very threatening.
Corporal Derby, you're trying to insinuate I'm making a threat? How many times during this conversation have I mentioned Florida State Statute 914 Tact 22?
I hate to cut you off. We're here to help you. Deputy Martins has done a fantastic job of listening to you.
And that's what I said. I think you're being a little overly defensive, Corporal.
And reporting your concern.
Corporal, before I told him that statement, I thanked him for being polite and taking the time to go through all this with me. And then I said, be thorough so they can't come after him for not being thorough. There's going to be scrutiny. I was giving him a friendly warning.
Okay.
Stop jumping the gun, Corporal. Calm down. Calm down. I'd like to have someone like you as a partner. You seem very defensive. That'd be a good partner to have.
Well, let me ask you this. I would hate for somebody to be led the wrong way or to be threatened. So my job is to help and protect people.
I'm a man of God, sir. I'm not going to harm anyone who's not trying to harm somebody else.
Okay. So if Deputy Martins or Sergeant Denny weren't able to help you and get you what you wanted with these complaints and reports about all these very serious accusations, I mean, you're talking violations of state statute, U.S. code, possible corruption. These are very serious things. So if it doesn't go what are you going to do? What is your plan?
See, here's the thing is, I keep being accused of being upset things aren't going my way. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about Sergeant Denny didn't do a good enough job. I'm talking about Sergeant Denny misled me to believe. That's a criminal offense. So I'm just reporting crimes. That's what I'm going to continue to do. If PBSO continues to be corrupt, I'm going to continue to report it. That's it.
As much information as you've provided will be recorded and memorialized through this recording for maximum retention period possible.
Yeah, and I know I called up trying to talk to Sheriff Bradshaw himself about some potential child trafficking that was happening near 702 North H Street in Lake Worth, and I've got the Targeted Violence Unit contacting me on a fishing expedition. So I'm pretty tired. I'm pretty tired of your office coming at me like I'm the bad guy here. I'm trying to protect people. I'm trying to help you clean out your office of deputies that are doing the wrong thing. And I'm trying to do that in a legal means through reporting. So there is no threats of violence coming from my end. That's what's coming at me from your office. I've been threatened multiple times.
You sound very upset.
I am very upset. Wouldn't you be upset if law enforcement officers who are supposed to protect you are coercing you and threatening you?
Okay. Well, Deputy Martins has taken your statement. He has recorded everything you've said.
Appreciate it. And like I said, Corporal Derby, you're like a pit bull. You're a good cop partner to have. You're defending your guy. I get it. I enjoyed that when I was a military police officer, having a good sidekick that was always there to get my back.
We definitely appreciate your service.
Yeah, I'm just telling you two guys, just don't be shady in your report because there's likely going to be scrutiny. You know, do the right thing.
So if things don't go your way, what are your plans, sir?
What are my plans? To continue reporting.
Okay. You've certainly got the right to make these reports. My partner will document everything that you said. We will notify the appropriate people. If somebody needs to follow up with you, New Mexico is an awful long way. Did you move there? Are you on vacation or what? I mean,
I'm court ordered to stay in this state by the state of Florida. Yes.
For how long?
Until my conditions are removed.
So indefinitely, you're court ordered to stay in New Mexico until you've got conditions removed?
Yes.
About a year you've been living without a drink in New Mexico. You've been court ordered to stay there, and that sounds odd to me. I've never heard of that, but I don't do it.
That's because the state of Florida didn't want me in Florida gathering evidence and filing documents. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm dealing with here.
Yeah, because what you're saying is very serious. So if somebody needs to meet with you to get an official sworn statement. We don't know who we're talking to over the phone. You could be, John the ragman down the street who's mad at all these folks. We have no idea. So if we need to follow up with you, we can meet with you in person in New Mexico. Other than that, we've got all your concerns documented with police reports. And it sounds like there's been previous things documented. And just so you know, typically if there's a federal firearms investigation or corruption investigation, you're not going to be able to get a report for it because whoever's investigating it is going to keep that stuff pretty confidential and secret, so people who are investigated aren't going to be able to see what they're being investigated for. It'd be awfully stupid if somebody is accused of something and then we can see what they're being accused of before the case goes final. Do you understand that?
Yeah, and that's why I was pretty upset with Florida Department of Law Enforcement when they forwarded reports to Internal Affairs on their misconduct.
Well, I'm
You see how silly that is? You see how silly that is? You don't report to the people that you're investigating them or have been asked to.
That's correct.
That's,
so if there's
yeah.
something like firearms or federal violations.
Well, what I would recommend to you is rather than, you're saying you would actually send a deputy all the way out to New Mexico to speak with me if you need a sworn statement. I have a legal representative in the state of Florida, Ashley Johnson. You can deal with her and you can verify through her that this is me.
That's the public defender. It's odd that a public defender would send somebody like across the country into another state. Do you have an active criminal case or all your cases resolved?
I do have an active criminal case, several.
Okay, got it. Were you like accused or something, the defendant?
Indeed.
You're in Florida or other states?
Florida. That's what I'm saying. Florida wanted me out of Florida.
You have to be back in Florida at some point for court, or how's that work?
Eventually.
When do you have to come back to Florida?
Undetermined.
But your public defender will let you know?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, very good. So we've got your statement. We've got the reporting. My partner has got a report. The report will mention that you made a statement about, various concerns, the details of which are contained within your tape statement here. And we'll see how we can move forward. Does that sound like a plan, sir?
Yes, and I'd like specifically to let you know right now that my concerns are involving Florida State Statute 914.22.
Everything that you have mentioned with the U.S. codes and the statute you mentioned and the person's name, I'm memorialized through this report.
Thank you, and I believe that it's a conspiracy to commit such offense.
All of that will be noted in your statement and the report that reflects your statement, sir.
You have a good day.
You too.